Before we begin the video, I'd like to give a big shout out to our most recent Patreon supporters, Tristan Johnson, Sammy, and Matthew Knudsen. Thank you very much for your support. And if you want to support us on Patreon as well, feel free to click the link down below in the description to find out more, and we'll see you there. Take care, guys. A chugga 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 chugga. Dead meat! That's right. We're on the dead body train, and we are now pulling into the station of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. Arguably one of your favorite Nightmare on Elm Street films.
Yeah, this is my second favorite.
Yeah, after the first one, of course. And yeah, this one and the fourth one are considered creative high points for the series in terms of character development and all that, and in terms of setting up a lot of precedents for a lot of horror films from here on out. But yeah, I mean,
this is for me like a good balance because it's between the ridiculous, over the top campiness of the later ones and like the seriousness of the first one. And it's enjoyable because it's both kind of silly, but at the same time, like, still pretty scary.
Yeah.
At least for the time, you know.
Well,
it's hard to scare people nowadays because everybody's already desensitized to horror. But
the only way
when I first saw this, I was just like, some of that shit's terrifying.
Well, the only way you can truly scare people nowadays is if you dig really deep into their psyche, and you make them piss themselves pretty much.
This also has some gore moments that like don't really hit as hard anymore because you've seen just the most ridiculous, over the top gore you can think of already. But like at the time, like, it was just kind of like, you know.
Yeah, like, ugh.
Holy shit. Like, so yeah, I mean, it's not the scariest thing you'll ever see by any means, but if you take it for what it was when it was, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So,
all in all, man, I mean, I'm excited to see what James is going to say about Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, and I'd say let's just get into it. I mean, no dilly-dally, no shilly-shally. Let's see what happens. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Where are your reactors now, James?
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James Agent East, and today we're looking at A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, released in 1987. With a screenplay begun by Wes Craven and revised by Frank Darabont, Nightmare 3 completely ignores everything from Part 2, choosing instead to bring back Nancy and delve deeper into Freddy's backstory. Dream Warriors is the movie that began Freddy's status as pop culture icon, with him spitting out one-liners every kill and appearing in all sorts of different fun forms.
Welcome
Balancing out the Fred Krueger show is a solid cast of teens that includes Patricia Arquette in her first ever role. She plays Kristen Parker, whose unique ability to pull other people into her dreams leads to the creation of the titular Dream Warriors, a group of institutionalized kids who fight Freddy with their dream powers. While that may sound a little goofy, Dream Warriors has a much more well-balanced tone than the campy stuff that would come later in the series. It's also got some pretty damn memorable kills, so let's count some sheep and get to them. The movie begins with a Poe quote, "Highbrow nightmare." Then credits start playing over someone making, is that pancake batter? Oh, paper mache, that's a fun activity. Ooh, and popsicle sticks? Must be some kindergartners having a great time at summer camp. Or it's a full-grown woman. This is Kristen Parker, who's downing instant coffee chased with Coke to get this art project done. Her mom comes in and makes her go to bed, so Kristen's gonna have to wait until tomorrow to finish her perfect scale model of the Elm Street house. She must be one of those artists who finds inspiration in their dreams, because in hers, the Elm Street house looms large, with a lawn performance by the Jump Rope Girls, featuring a rare guest appearance by a Jump Rope boy. Kristen winds up inside the house's basement, where a girl in a floofy Beauty and the Beast dress is riding a tricycle. Then the furnace turns on, and the girl tells Kristen whose house. And it ain't Ron's.
Freddy's home.
Kristen grabs the baby Belle and races through the Elm Street house as Krueger chases after her. Eventually, she finds herself in a room full of hanging corpses. Not enough corpses for you? Look down. Your child is now a corpse. Back to Kristen. She wakes up and the nightmare is over. Or is it? Because that handsy faucet and the funhouse mirror Freddy say otherwise. Freddy uses the faucets as his finger knives and slashes at Kristen right as her mom opens the door, making it look like Kristen was just attempting to commit suicide. To Weston Hills we go, a psychiatric hospital which the series would return to in Freddy vs. Jason. The staff at this place includes Dr. Gordon, played by not Bill Maher, and the orderly Max, played by Lawrence Fishburne, in a very transitional state between Cowboy Curtis and Morpheus. There's also another Sims who tells Gordon that they have a hotshot grad student coming to work for them. Guess who it is? It's motherfucking Nancy Thompson, white hair streak and all. And she shows up as Kristen is being admitted in a not so peaceful manner, throwing shit around and slashing Max with a scalpel. Nancy's able to provide some understanding and calm Kristen down with a hug. She's been through a lot. Then Max introduces Nancy to a couple more patients. Philip is a sleepwalker who makes marionette puppets, which will come back later in a fun way. And Kincaid, my personal favorite character, is a temperamental dude who Max says often winds up in the quiet room.
I do it so I don't have to look at your ugly face all the time.
Such a goose. Another
man.
patient is Joey, a mute dude with a teardrop tattoo and most of a mullet, and he's got the hots for a nurse who works there. Nancy talks to Doc Gordon, who tells her all the kids there have excessive nightmares, so they're always trying to avoid sleep. Nancy accidentally spills her purse, and Gordon sees a pill bottle labeled Hypnosil, which he learns later that night is an experimental drug used to suppress dreams. After Nancy leaves, Gordon notices a nun creeping in a corridor, which plants the seed for a very messy, very Catholic storyline to grow throughout the rest of the series. Meanwhile, Nancy goes to Kristen's house to pick up her stuff and finds the popsicle stick version of her old haunt in Kristen's bedroom. Yeah, I know, Nance, right? Pretty impressive paper mache. Turns out Kristen's downright obsessed with that house, and she's drawn a picture of it as she nods off in the hospital. Dreamtime comes, and she's visited by a trike leaving bloody streak marks. Then it melts, and she backs up out of her hospital room right into the Elm Street house. On the menu tonight is rotting pig corpse. But careful there, Kristen. This pork bites back. Another room she's in just kind of self-destructs around her before a big old Freddy worm busts out of the floor and friggin' body slams her to the ground. This gives us another classic visual from the series. Fred Worm trying to swallow Kristen whole. It's at this point that Kristen calls out for Nancy, and Nancy awakens from her nap in an IKEA chair. Seems like the popsicle house is calling out to her, and next thing you know, she's falling backwards through the chair, crash landing in an Elm Street house hallway where she checks out Kristen's kinky dream. Yep, Nancy is in Kristen's dream now, and after seeing the hungry worm, she immediately stabs it in the eye, causing Freddy to let Kristen go, then reel back and see her.
Oh my god.
As he charges at them, the girls get safely behind a door. Then Nancy wakes up and finds that a cut on her hand is carried over from Kristen's dream. Nancy immediately confronts Kristen with the
I wonder
popsicle
what
stick
way
bottle
she
of
would
her
have
old
died
house.
in real
Kristen
life if
admits
she
that
actually
she's had
got
this
swallowed
dream
by the Freddy
improvement
worm.
powers, and she
Actually, there's something about Freddy. He has an obsession with power. He has an obsession with power, and I think he was attempting to possess her to gain her power. That's effectively what I think was happening
Could
there.
be true.
Uh-oh. I spy with my little eye.
I didn't want to mess you guys
No. Come on in, Chad. Come on in.
It's all good.
So,
Is there anything? Can I make a dramatic entrance?
yeah, feel free, dude. Oh, hold on. Oh, actually, do that again. Do that one more time. Hold on, everybody. We gotta. Yeah, hold on. Wait for it. Come on, just gotta unzoom it. Damn camera features. And go for it. Epic entrance there, Chad. Very nice. So let's get this off the screen for me. There we go. So we're watching Dead Meat Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Did you ever watch it?
Yes, I've seen all of these and was petrified as a child of Freddy Krueger.
As were most kids. Which, going back and watching the Nightmare on Elm Streets now, they're a little campy, but they have some interesting ideas. Very interesting horror movie ideas.
Well, I caught this at the beginning. It's very funny so far.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's get back to it.
Welcome to the couch, bitch.
She was a child when she would pull her dad into her nightmares to keep her safe. Hey, yo, Kristen, the U.S. military would pay top dollar for that kind of power. Just saying. Time for some group therapy.
Groups in session. Straight talk only in this room.
It's our chance to meet all the other patients in this joint. Like Will, a geeky guy confined to a wheelchair after apparently trying to jump to his own death. There's also Jennifer, who plans to be an actress whenever she gets out of Weston. And finally Taryn, who has a history with drugs and chose to stay at Weston to avoid juvie. They talk with the doctors about their collective nightmare, and Dr. Sims says their scary dream man is probably just a manifestation of guilt and over-sexualized thinking.
Great, Nass, my dick is killing me.
Love that guy, man.
Wizard Master. Until Max comes in and tells them it's time for lights out. As soon as he's out of the room, though, Joey and Will argue over who's on first shift for staying up. Looks like these kids got themselves a buddy system to stay alive. Good on them. Too bad Phil and Kincaid aren't taking the same precautions, because don't look now, but it's Freddy Krueger as envisioned by Andre Toulon. I love the stop-motion Freddy puppet here, even if we only see it for a few seconds before Freddy scales up to full size at the foot of Phil's
that was
bed.
pretty
Slashes
awesome.
Phil all over the place with his finger knives, and then rips out his, I don't know, what is that, veins, muscles?
I hadn't seen a lot of gore, and so when I saw this, I was just like,
Yeah, dude.
Sleepwalking, and the sight is pretty creepy, even without the tendons coming out of it. Of course, I much prefer my sleepwalking kills with gore, so it's great that we get some
Sick-looking.
close-ups of the
especially that.
Phil is
Oh.
coming out
Oh,
the
that
hallway
hurts
and
me.
straight through the
Yeah.
front door of the hospital.
It's still
Joey,
a
ever
sick
vigilant,
effect.
sees Phil hanging out where he shouldn't be.
Otherwise,
He
it just
drags
looks
Will
like
to
me
the
trying to
window. We
dance.
get a great scene of watching how capable these kids are. Will busts open the window to yell for Phil, while Joey manages to get the attention of the front desk nurse and everyone else in the hospital without ever speaking a word. It's too late though. He only succeeds in gathering an audience to watch out the window as Puppet Master Freddy completes this iconic kill, dangling Phil out over the open air before slicing off his vein strings and letting him fall to his death. The movie's first kill wasn't until a half hour in. God damn was the wait worth it. At group session the next day, the doctors are torn over whether it was a sleepwalking accident or a suicide, and Gordon shows that he has no idea how to talk to at-risk teenagers.
Philip quit. He gave up. Philip killed himself. Now that's a cowardly thing. That's an empty thing. He let himself down. He let all of us down.
Jesus, dude. Read a book on mental health, maybe. After the session, and at Nancy's insistence, Gordon says he's going to prescribe hypnosil. Sims is understandably against testing an experimental drug on a bunch of apparently suicidal teens, but acquiesces as long as Gordon takes full responsibility for whatever happens. In the rec room, Jennifer's watching TV as research for her future acting career and burning herself with cigarettes to stay awake. But it doesn't work, because while she's watching Dick Cavett interview Zaza Gabor, things get weird.
Can I ask you something?
Certainly.
Who in the fuck what you think?
That's how you do a family.
Yes, that's awesome.
To fix it, but then it sprouts some arms out the sides and grabs her, lifting her to the screen. A Freddy head emerges from the top and delivers one of the most quotable lines of the franchise.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
He smashes her into the TV and kills her. And fun fact, Prime Time Bitch is the only Freddy line ever improvised by Robert Englund, and it wound up being pure gold. At Jennifer's funeral, we pick back
Should have improvised more.
When she shows up to Dr. Gordon and introduces herself as Sister Mary. She tells him only one thing will save his kids.
The unquiet spirit must be laid to rest.
Ooh, cryptic. And when Nancy walks up, you know that nun gonna disappear like a bad habit on New Year's Day. Yep, she gone. Nancy and Gordon get another deal, and this one's got candles and a fireplace. So, what the fuck's going on here? Getting some serious Anakin Padme vibes. But maybe this is all just Nancy buttering him up, because she tells him it's time to quit dicking around and believe her and the kids about Freddy Krueger. Cue another group session.
Straight talk only in this room.
Nancy gives the kids the lowdown on old Fred Krueger between his child-killing first life and his dream-killing second life, and informs them that they're all descendants of the vigilante parent group that roasted Freddy alive.
You are the last of the Elm Street children.
Nancy says they may be able to defeat Fred through Kristen's convenient power of pulling other people into her dreams. And also because everyone has their own special power they can use in their dreams. Yeah, this stuff doesn't really follow the logic of the first film, but then again, none of the sequels do. So fuck it, let's get to some dream war. Gordon uses a pendulum to put everyone to sleep, and although they don't think it worked at first, these floating metallic balls are a pretty good indication that they are indeed all sleeping together. Dreaming together. Let's see what these kids can do.
Yeah, phrasing.
I can walk.
Okay, sure, yeah, that makes sense.
My dreams, I am the wizard master.
All right, Will, you already went. Maybe let someone else have a chance, dude. Kristen, got anything for us? Okay, some cartwheels and a backflip. Sure, yeah. I mean, I was thinking you could aim a little higher, but that's fine. Kincaid, what you got? You are bending a chair. Wow, okay, so y'all have pretty lame dreams. Taryn?
In my dreams, I'm beautiful.
Oh, well, you were good looking before, Taryn. I mean, the pump makeover certainly looked...
And bad.
Okay, when did everyone just decide they each get 2 turns? Can we please try to have some order here? Joey's dream is a little more adventurous, since he sneaks off to go sleep with that nurse he's been eyeing. Too bad you don't talk, Joey. It's the perfect opportunity to say, hello, nurse. But Freddy winds up being a wet blanket on this wet dream, since the nurse's tongue play gets a little too intense for Joey, and he winds up getting some lashes that tie him to the bed.
What's wrong, Joey? Feeling tongue-tied?
Ah, shit, that's right. Now begins the part of the franchise where Freddy takes all the jokes I would have made. Freddy doesn't kill Joey. Instead, keeping
So it's the other dude that's Dick kills him.
And the rest of the straight talking group gets trapped inside their room as the walls start closing in around them like a trash compactor on the Death Star. The whole situation ends when Dr. Sims enters the room to find it looking like an opium den. Joey's on the floor and not responding at all. Apparently he's in a coma now, an incident that gets Gordon fired by the hospital superior. I mean, to be fair.
In the last 4 days, we've had 2 suicides, and now that young man is in a coma.
Yeah, if that dude didn't get fired, there'd probably be an angry letter writing campaign. On his way out the door, Gordon sees Sister Mary hanging out up by Phil's launching pad, so he goes up there to find her lighting some mood candles. She tells him this wing of the hospital was closed in the 40s after a young girl on staff was locked inside with the violent offenders who were kept there. Heads up for some sexual assault shit, because Fred Krueger's backstory ain't pleasant. The girl was raped by the inmates hundreds of times apparently, and was found days later pregnant with child.
The bastard son of 100 maniacs.
And just want to take a minute here to remind you that the way you were born doesn't predetermine who you are, you know? Children begot of rape or born out of wedlock aren't any more likely to be bad people or dream demons or whatever. Sister Mary also says that Fred's remains were never found after the fire, and that they must be buried in hallowed ground to make things okay again. Got it. For some reason, Nancy's allowed to watch over Joey, and while she does, Freddy writes to her in Joey's chest, adding that special Freddy flair that really makes the message feel personal. She and Gordon convene and exchange information, and realize that only one man would know where Freddy's remains are. Yo, you hear that? Is that an alto Saxon? Is that a tenor Saxon? Nah, son, it's a John Saxon. Nancy's dad, Lieutenant Donald T. Omson, is
From the
back.
first
He
film,
is
that's
drunk
right.
as a skunk.
Well, if it isn't my little girl. My baby come to see her daddy?
Guess he's honoring Marge's legacy. He also refuses to believe any more Freddy Krueger shit, so he sends his daughter away. At the hospital, Kristen freaks out and gets put in the quiet room, so when Gordon calls the kids there, what, he can just call them straight direct? Taryn tells him what's up. Gordon sends Nancy back to Weston and says he'll keep working on Donald. Yeah, I'm sure Nancy's dad is gonna be real interested in talking to the 40-year-old dude running around with his daughter. Gordon doesn't wait to find out how Mr. Thompson feels about him, though, instead getting rough with Donald, which, like, I guess if you want to take that approach, dude. I know I wouldn't even dream of fucking with John Saxon like that, especially when the dude
was trained by Bruce Lee.
But hey, why not have him drive, right? Gordon?
Especially when he's
Stop at
already a
church,
cop,
where Gordon
too.
fills a bottle up with
For
holy
real.
water and steals a crucifix. Then they drive to a junkyard that apparently Donald has the keys to, and he tells Gordon that Fred's remains are in there, but like really deep in there, and well hidden too. Sounds like this mission might take a while, so we'll check back with these guys in a bit. Nancy gets to the hospital and rounds up the remaining Dream Warrior kids for one last group session.
Straight talk only in here.
She asks them if they're still down to join up in Kristen's dreams and help save Joey, even though if they die in the dream, they'll die in real life too. They each confirm that they're in,
Let's go kick the motherfucker's ass all over Dreamland.
so she
Hell
starts
yeah.
the pendulum swinging and it's
Love that
off
guy.
to Never Never Land. I'm still not sure how exactly this logic tracks, but they all wind up together with Kristen in her dream. Freddy's claws start slashing through the walls of the room they're in, sending feathers flying everywhere and apparently separating everyone from each other. Kristen finds herself back in her bedroom, just like in the beginning of the movie, but this time when her mom puts her to bed, she's yanked out of the room by Freddy.
I said, where's the fucking bourbon?
The sharp-dressed man decapitates Mr. Parker and jumps on the bed to get Kristen, but she's got those sweet acrobatic skills with a Z and manages to escape through a window and wind up back in the Elm Street house. Taryn finds herself in a colorfully lit back alley set where she runs into Freddy.
Okay, asshole. Let's dance.
They have a little knife fight, as required by law of all back alley meetings, but it doesn't last very long before Freddy breaks out the good stuff.
Let's get high.
Then the track marks in her arms turn into little mouths. Oh, sick, dude. And Freddy stabs her with the needles, giving her a lethal overdose. A truly cruel death for the recovered addict, and an image that would probably make for a pretty sweet and ironic Dare shirt. Oh, hey, it does. Now it's on the bill. Always staring down the barrel of the scary looking
Yes.
Joker. Freddy's there, too, being evil and cracking jokes. And then the chair charges that Will. It manages to ground him on its first run, but after it turns around for a second charge, Will gets himself off the ground and turns into a stupid-looking wizard master whose zappy green finger bolts blow up the evil torture chair. Seriously, dude, last time I saw your wizard master outfit, it was on a box of Count Chocula. I mean, go ahead and wear it, I guess, as long as you don't say anything stupid.
In the name of Lorik, Prince of Elves, demon be gone!
Yeah, okay, go ahead and gut this dude, Fred.
Sorry, kid. I don't believe in fairy tales.
They're not fairy tales, they're fantasy epics, is what
Love
I'm sure
that
Will
line,
is thinking
too.
as he bleeds out dying from Freddy's finger knife stab to the heart. Kristen and Nancy are able to reunite and are soon joined by a rampaging Kincaid who, oh yes, his way into the room.
That's more old school Luke Cage, but, or Power Man.
Yeah, you tell him, Kincaid. Show him what it's like to get shit talked by a dude wearing suspenders. Freddy responds by placing a door in front of them.
Hey, I
Through
think
that
we had
door,
Luke Cage
big old
before we
furnace
actually
cave
got
where
Luke
Joey
Cage,
lies
yeah.
captive over a pit of fire and doom. Fred shows up, and Nancy has a poor choice of words for him.
Let him go, Kruger!
Your wish is my command.
Freddy starts detonguing Joey's limbs. That's a weird fucking sentence to say. But luckily, Nancy's able to reach him and save him before he hurtles down to the hellfire below. Kristen tags in with some flippy action against Fred as Kincaid uses his mildly
nice
enhanced
drop kick.
strength to save Nance and Joey and then hit Freddy with a pipe. But he doesn't do too much damage, nor does Nancy after she impales him with a steel rod, because Fred just pulls that shit out and licks himself off a little blood snap. Blood. Then we're introduced to another new element of Freddy's whole deal. Turns out he's got a chest full of screaming faces. Yep, they're the souls of all the kids he's killed and they give him power or something. And now back to our regularly scheduled program, Dad Bod Corpse Hunter, starring not Bill Maher as Grimacing Gordon and Johnny B. Saxon as Donald the Drunk.
Not
Pop over
Bill
to
Maher.
Freddy's remains and start digging a proper grave for it, and it's at this point that Freddy and his soul chest realize something's going on, so he disappears from the dream world to go handle his business. Freddy full-on possesses his decrepit skeleton, and holy shit, when did this become Army of Darkness? Also, watch Gordon right here. Yes, I will never not find that face he makes hilarious. Donald gets into a halfway decent looking fist fight with the skeleton before Skelly Kruger throws him against a hunk of junk and
Looked
impales
like a
him.
Bryan Cranston face he
John
made.
Saxon,
Though
no.
thankfully, we'll see John Saxon in one more more movie during the series. The skeleton makes quick work of Gordon too, knocking him into an open grave and doing a little victory taunt before reverting to a pile of bones again. That means he can start fucking with the Dream Warriors again, who are presently in the middle of a hall of mirrors. Freddy appears in all of them, laughing and waggling his tongue around, and even grabbing the kids and pulling them through with a real cool looking distorted effect. Joey's able to save them by finally speaking up, screaming out a Vadery no,
cool
that
effect,
breaks all the
actually.
mirrors and spits the kids back into the hallway.
Did I say that? You found your dream power, man.
His dream power is to yell cool. Here, you want some more weirdness in your Elm Street movie? How about Ghost Donald Thompson, who appears to Nancy to say he's dead now? And hey, sorry for being kind of a dick your whole life. If you're thinking this is a bit too hokey for a Nightmare movie, don't you worry. Turns out the Spectre is actually Freddy, who sticks his finger knives into Nancy's gut. Oh no, Nancy! He turns his attention to Kristen, but he should have known to double tap, as Nancy pops back up and stabs him with his own glove. And in the junkyard, her screams of anguish somehow wake up Gordon, who manages to crawl his way to victory by knocking Freddy's remains into the grave and dousing them with holy water, which results in some cool-looking beams of light bursting from Fred's body in the dream world. With a prayer to sanctify the whole process, Gordon puts Freddy to rest, and the Springwood slasher disappears from Kristen's dream. But it's too late for Nancy. As Kristen cries and holds her in her arms, it becomes clear that Nancy's a goner, and the subsequent funeral confirms that Nightmare 3 had the guts to kill off the original film's main character. Gordon sees Sister Mary in the cemetery and runs to catch up with her, but it turns out she's been a ghost this whole time. Sister Mary was actually Freddy's mother, Amanda Kruger. He goes to sleep that night with the popsicle stick Elm Street house on his nightstand, not seeing when its lights turn on. Oh honey, Freddy's home. Many Dream Warriors came out to play, but not all of them made it out alive. How many died? Let's find out and get to the numbers. In my dreams, I'm a strong boy. 6 people died in Dream Warriors, and the victims consisted of 3 males and 3 females, and even split between men and women fatalities. With a runtime of 96 minutes, that comes out to a kill on average every 16 minutes flat. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Jennifer. The whole thing looks so great, from the TV transformation to the after effect of the death. And of course,
and the friggin' one-liner
that I find myself saying pretty much every day.
What's the prime time, bitch?
The machete for lamest kill will be Wizard Master Will, partly due to his lame-ass Grandpa Munster cosplay, but also because we've seen finger knife stabs 1,000 times already. And that's it. A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors
at least had a good
was
line
released
with
in
it.
1987,
Yeah.
and I think you'll find that many Fred heads consider it their favorite. The next 2 films would follow closely in its footsteps, and we'll cover part 4, The Dream Master, next Friday. Until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching my Kill Count for Nightmare 3 Dream Warriors. I want to thank a couple of my patrons like Matt D and 1402 News. How many of you are watching the Nightmare movies along with the Kill Count series? If you're not, I really recommend you do. I think you can pick up a DVD of the whole series for like very cheap. Also, I really want to live stream the NES Nightmare game from like the 80s. So keep an eye out for that on the channel. See you guys next week. Be good people.
Hey, there you go.
Hell yeah. I think the kill on the Wizard Master Kid probably would have been cooler if they had the budget to do something like turn him into a fantasy creature to kill him, yeah.
Well,
like a dragon or something.
Actually, I think one thing that would have worked would be Freddy pretty much just being like, you want to do magic, huh? I can do the same. Snaps his fingers and the kid shrinks down and ribbit, he turns into a frog. And then Freddy picks him up and says, "Aw, Prince Charming, want a kiss?" And then eats him.
That would have been pretty
That
badass.
would have been, to me, that would have been the best right there.
Anything would have been better than that fucking terrible costume.
Yeah.
Just like, you can dream anything. This is what you're dreaming.
Yeah, Count Dankula Count Dankula's revenge.
Either that or he could have been like, let me show you some real magic. And he like poofs into like, actual like magician's hat and stuff. And the kid, like just ends up in a box, and he's like, for my next trick, I'm gonna saw this kid in half.
That would be either that or
the kid screaming,
either that
pulls it apart and the organs drape out.
Yeah, either that or a cool one he could do would also be the him with the magician's hat, like you said, and actually like toss it at the kid, and it like drapes over him, and he disappears, and he pulls it off the ground. He's like, see what we can find. Reaches in, and instead of pulling the rabbit out of the hat, pulls the kid's head out of the hat. I think that would have probably been like anything better than that, guys. Come on, you can think of something better.
Yeah, that was lame.
Like, guys, do you have a version of that kill that you all would have liked to have seen?
Come up with your own Freddy kills the wizard kid ideas in the comments.
It leaves up so many possibilities for creativity, but there's none of them executed.
And they could have done some
finger
like
gloves,
jacked up nods to him like being paralyzed and in the wheelchair.
Oh yeah. Well, they had the one where the wheelchair was trying to kill him, but that's not bad. but instead Freddy could have actually like cut his legs off.
Beat him to death with his own legs or something.
Jesus.
How does this work for you? My bad.
No.
I'm done.
Hey, dude, my
I'm done with
granddad was a paraplegic, and he made jokes. I don't give a shit.
Oh, he could have made a joke at him like, "I'm going to give your effort a standing ovation."
That's a good one.
Wow.
One writer also let Robert Englund improvise. Some of the best improvisations come from people. Like, for instance, Nathan Drake. They originally had him as like super generic hero, Mr. Good Guy, and all this and all that, with a little bit of an edge. But then the very moment that Nolan North, thank you. Nolan North came along. I kept having Nathan Fillion in my head for some reason. It's because that damn short film version they did with him as Nathan Drake. But the very moment Nolan North took over and Nolan North was allowed to improvise, and they felt that it felt more natural, they went with it. And Robert Englund is talented enough and smart enough to come up with puns that not only are smarter, but are overall better than what I guarantee what most of the writers could come up with. But it is what it is, man.
Oh, he could have at least said, "Sorry, kid, I don't believe in fairy tales. Abracastabia."
Oh. Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
Abracastabia, I like that.
Damn.
But I will say the one that I thought was actually a little bit, both, like, all the kills up until that point were pretty damn good. I mean, the one with the kid committing the kid looking like he committed suicide, the marionette one.
Yes,
that was awesome. The foot thing with it, the veins coming out of the foot. Oh god, the veins and the tendons.
Jesus,
that was brutal.
Like the holes in the top of his feet were like disgusting looking.
Oh
crazy.
yeah, did really good with that.
That puppet was really fucking cool.
Yeah, the Fred
Freddy puppet.
I would have liked the
badass.
Fred puppet to have like actually like instead of like growing into Freddy, instead he came up onto the bed as Puppet Fred. And actually, like, got his marionette strings and he dug them in, and that's how he was able to pull the.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, because that would have been the better way to do that, I feel. But the one with the junkie getting the syringes, damn, that one was harsh.
Yeah,
that one was very harsh.
So, was there Puppet Master dolls in the movie?
No, I don't.
Did I see the little screw head thing?
I don't know. I didn't.
Anyway, I just noticed that when I was walking in, I saw the.
I don't know. Let's go back to that scene and let's see.
By Andre
I could just be tripping.
Kincaid aren't taking the same.
No, I don't think this was it. I think it was way earlier. But
okay, let's
see.
see.
Like
we'll go back to the
talking
character
about him
introduction.
and his puppets that he made.
Yeah,
we'll see it here in just a second. Yeah, Nancy.
Because that series was fucking just. I don't know why, but when I was a kid, Puppet Master scared the shit out of me too.
Okay, so the introductions. Yeah, there's
that guy.
That one looks a little bit like it could have been.
Looks like one of them.
Potentially.
But who knows?
And then there's this kid, which, hey, unbelievably, they didn't kill the black kid. Although Lawrence Fishburne doesn't really appear that much later in the film. I wonder if he like realized halfway through, he's like, well, one day I'm gonna play Morpheus. I'm just gonna leave halfway through. Because he didn't really appear that much in the film after his initial introduction and everything. And you figure, you got Lawrence Fishburne, who was in Apocalypse Now. I mean, use him, dude. Use him. I mean, have him.
Maybe that's all they could afford with him.
Maybe. I mean,
who knows?
Yeah, but there's so much awesomeness that this movie has. It literally is the second best Nightmare on Elm Street film. It literally is in my book. And the fourth one is actually, I'd say, my third favorite. I mean, because it has so much going for it as well.
Yeah, it's probably mine as well. Like, well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so.
5 to me just is
the
where
fourth is where they
everything
start to
fell
go
off a cliff.
downhill, like a little bit.
Yeah,
like, it starts getting too silly in 4, but it's still a pretty good one.
Well, yeah, but 5 is where everything to me just fell off of a cliff, and I was just like, what the hell?
Yeah, 5 just gets straight up absurd.
Yeah, and then New Nightmare, I was interested to see if they were going to continue it. Turns out they never did, because, well.
Yeah, and like back in the day, like someone told me that New Nightmare wasn't worth watching because it wasn't part of the original series. But now that I've gotten older and talked to other people, they're like, "Oh, New Nightmare is actually kind of cool." Like,
it is. It provides a lot darker of a tone that Wes Craven wanted to continue with the series.
Yeah,
but didn't get to because the studio wanted to go more lighthearted with some of the stuff, more campy, which in some ways benefits the series, but in other ways sort of kneecaps it.
But yeah, I still haven't seen it, so I guess before we finish this Dead Meat series of reactions, I need to watch that.
Yeah. So, all right. That was the kill count by James A. Janice over at Dead Meat. If you all are interested in watching more from him, there's a link to the original video in the description down below. And if you want to see more from us, I mean, we have a subscribe button right down there. Also, hit the bell so you can stay notified. We have a Discord. We have a Patreon. Check them out, guys. And, yeah. I guess until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
Oh, yeah, I showed up. I'm Chad.
And we will see you all in the next one, everybody. Peace out.